Cut to Peter, asleep in class. The teacher calls him aside as the class files out and asks him what is going on. His grades are slipping. The straight-A student has slipped off the track. Peter says it's a personal problem. He should be fine, but we see that he is changing. His life is changing. Peter figures there must be a way for him to make some money with his newfound powers. Peter has a piece of cardboard and a magic marker. He writes "human spider" on the cardboard. Thinks about it. Nah. He turns it over and writes "man spider." Nah. He gets another piece and writes "Spider-Man." Nah. He turns it over to write something else. Then he turns it back. Looks at it. Cut to the sign, leaning against a light pole on the boardwalk Rockaway. Peter has a black fishnet stocking over his head and dressed all in black. Starts climbing streetlights and doing gymnastics. People throw quarters and even some dollars in a dish next to the sign. Peter works a few hours, staking out some turf between a mime and a guy using upside-down plastic pails as drums. A guy asks him if he works private parties, and Peter shrugs, sure. The guy tells him he'll pay $50, but Peter should get a better costume. Peter in class, drawing in his math notebook as the teacher drones at the blackboard. He is doodling a costume. We see several bad designs. Cut to Peter working on the costume. He buys a snappy lycra dance skin at a dance studio. It is red and midnight blue. With liquid thread, he draws goofy web patterns all over it. A black spider on the chest, and a big red spider on the back. He tries it on. Not bad. He pulls the fishnet over his head. It disguises his features just enough. He cuts eye shapes out of the black material and glues them on. Big jack-o'-lantern eyes. Wise and a little wicked in their shape. Last, he makes wrist pieces out of 2 old watch bands and some cigarette lighters which he silver solders together. They do nothing. He will tell everyone he made these high-tech wrist shooters which simulate spider silk. He doesn't want them to think he's a freak of nature. They are situated in such a way that his biological spinnerets are just hidden but unimpeded. It looks like the silk is shooting out of the wristbands. In front of the mirror, he practices poses, turning, catching the light. He works on his voice, lowering it. We see him becoming another person. Spider-Man is born out of Peter the boy. Spider-Man is everything Peter is not. Confident, cocky, physical, powerful, smooth, ready with a snappy one-liner. We see long-repressed aspects of Peter coming out, being given form and substance behind the mask. Aunt May at the bathroom door asks Peter when he's going to be done rehearsing for the play. It's late. Peter, flustered, whips off the mask. He reverts instantly to himself. The fantasy broken. Next, we have a sequence of scenes where we see Spider-Man become a public phenomenon. He does his spider tricks at an upscale party, climbing walls, swinging across the room. They pay him $50. A booking agent sees him and wants to put him on a public access variety show, a kind of gong show for weird acts. He gets noticed and becomes a kind of 3 a.m. cult favorite. His put-on deep voice becomes natural to him. He tells the interviewer that he built his wrist shooters himself and that the webbing formula is a secret, but that the chemical process is similar to rayon. Cut to an opulent mansion in Manhattan. Marble floors, priceless art on the walls, camera tracking through the luxurious darkness to a vast living room with a fire burning in an enormous fireplace. One wall of the room is covered with TV screens. A figure watching it from a high-back chair, watching The Amazing Spider-Man on the variety show. A hand appears from behind the chair back. With a minute gesture and no remote, the hand commands the TV screens, and they all switch to the channel on which Spider-Man is performing. 20 images of Spider-Man on cable as the audience claps, and the host makes some backhanded compliment, a joke at Spider-Man's expense. Peter, eager to please, doesn't get it. He does another trick. The band strikes up, and they go to commercial. We reveal the figure in the chair. This is Carlton Strand. He is in his early 40s and exudes power from every pore. He is wearing a very expensive custom-tailored suit. His hair slicked back, very GQ. His nails are manicured. His watch is platinum. He is the image of vast wealth attained, not inherited.
Carlton Strand. You think Trump was big? This guy was bigger.
There he was, sitting like a big, fat spider at the center of his web of power and megabucks. And way out at the edge, he feels this little vibration. Strand's eyes are piercing, blazing with a malevolent intelligence. He waves one hand minutely, and the TV set goes off. A man enters the room, a square-jawed, solid-looking guy with a powerful build named Boyd.
Find out everything you can find about this Spider-Man.
Boyd nods and exits. Cut back to Spider-Man, hanging from the radio tower of the World Trade Center. We will return periodically throughout the film to this image of him in his eyrie.
But he wasn't always Carlton Strand, any more than I was always your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The one time, it was just a punk named Carl. A two-time loser about to go down for a third time. It was about 10 years ago that Strand got his cosmic tap on the shoulder.
10 years ago, New Mexico desert. The wind is blowing sand across a desolate stretch of desert highway. It is dusk, and storm clouds have turned the sky prematurely black. A single car rocketing along at high speed. Blue and red lights come over the hills behind it, gaining. Inside the car, we see a younger and very different Carlton Strand. He has crummy clothes, a 4-day beard, and a desperate look in his eye. He's talking to somebody named Bobby, trying to keep him calm, but you hear the panic in Strand's voice. A view of the back seat reveals Bobby, slumped in the seat. Bobby's been shot in the stomach and isn't holding up his side of the conversation. The desert rolls by, unseen by his staring eyes. A highway patrol car pulls behind Strand's stolen Mercury. Strand fires a pistol out the window at them. The running gun battle results in both cars crashing spectacularly. Strand leaps from the wrecked car as more cops appear over the hill, lights blazing. He runs out into the shrubbery desert, clutching his pistol and a couple stacks of bills, the pitiful score from the robbery gone sour. On Strand, running. He reaches a fence and climbs over it. Nearby is a small cabin with a sign on it that says Lightning Field House. A man comes out of the cabin, yelling something at him. Strand ignores him, running on into the desert. He comes upon a strange place a mile further out. It is a field of stainless steel towers, straight rods over 100 feet high. There are hundreds of them, in perfect rows, covering 2 acres. It is a conceptual art piece, a sculpture called the Lightning Field. Carl doesn't know this, and he doesn't give a shit. He stops amongst the towers, exhausted. The cops reach the shack and the guy tells them they can't go any further. The towers are designed to attract lightning, and if there's a strike, they'd be toast. Strand sees lightning strobing through the black, turbulent sky. He crouches behind a tower, panting, gripping his gun, ready to make a stand. It is a full night now, a wild, howling night filled with the fury of a desert storm. Thunder rolls across the hills. Suddenly, the lightning field is struck. As it was designed to, it takes the energy of the lightning bolt and distributes it from tower to tower until the whole thing is blazing with blinding electric arcs in a huge rectangular matrix. Caught at the center of it, Strand is crucified by lightning from every direction. He is in a vortex of electric fields never before experienced by a human being. It lifts him off his feet with the power of the charge. In tight close-up, we see it arcing inside his eyeballs. The money drops from his hands, the bills igniting into flaming moths that swirl away on the wind. The cops watch the gorgeous, terrifying display. Strand hits the ground, smoking and motionless. The cops, watching through binoculars, know it is over. It begins to rain, obscuring their view. They get out a thermos of coffee and settle in to wait for morning. On Strand's body, still, then, incredibly, he stirs. He sits up, groggy and disoriented. Strand escapes in the rain, finding a dirt road through the nearby hills. He comes to a ranch house with a pickup truck. He tries the key. Nothing. He pops the hood and looks. There is no battery. In a rage, he grabs the 2 battery cables. The engine starts to turn over. He looks at his hand and realizes the voltage is coming from his body. He starts the car and slams it into gear, tearing out into the rainy night. He begins to comprehend that somehow he has been changed by the powerful matrix of electric fields, that he now can generate a powerful charge, like an electric eel. Cut to Strand, walking into a backroom meeting of a few of his hood acquaintances. It is weeks later, and they are surprised to see him. They thought he was dead.
I was, for a few minutes.
He got zapped by lightning out in the desert while running from the cops. Somebody set him up.
The cops were waiting when me and Bobby pulled the job. You guys wouldn't know anything about that, would you? I died in the desert and came back. But I came back changed.
He grabs the leader and stops his heart with a zap to the chest. Then Strand demonstrates his power over life and death. He puts his hands on the guy's chest and yells, jokingly,
Clear.
He zaps him again, and the crook's heart starts to beat. He begins to come around. Now they fear him. They start to go for their guns. Strand blasts them with powerful bursts of electrical energy, blowing them back against the walls. They collapse, their clothing on fire. Only the leader is left, the guy who set Strand up. Strand is clearly in total command of his new power. He explains that there is more to it than just being able to generate, channel, and project electrical energy. He can sense electrical energy as well. The world to him has been transformed. Instead of matter, solid things, he sees energy. A pulsing web of electric fields. He can sense the current in the wires in the walls. By laying his hand on a telephone wire, he can hear the conversation. By touching a computer, he can download the data from its hard drive. His brain itself has been energized and is now able to follow and analyze all these signals. The world is a pulsing circulatory system of electrical and electromagnetic currents and waves. In fact, he can't shut it out. The real power, he says, is not force, but information. Then force. He kills the leader of the gang and takes his place. but he quickly realizes that the kind of crime these guys were involved in was at a penny ante level. The real rip-offs were happening at a much higher level. The multi-billion-dollar leveraged buyouts, corporate takeovers, offshore bank scams. He takes the resources of the two-bit crime syndicate and takes them legit. Then, using his ability to steal and manipulate data, he builds them into a mega player. He is utterly ruthless, brilliant, feared, and almost magical in the way he knows everything that is going on. Anyone that stands in his way seems to conveniently die of a heart attack. He considers the brute force display of power to be vulgar. The real power is the power to move the world through control of economic forces which are beyond the realm of most people's imagination. Donald Trump meets Milken, mixed with homicidal psychosis. He knows he is unique in all the world, destined for greatness, destined to use the masses of everyday mortals for his own gain. Cut back to present. In Strand's mansion, a woman enters the room. She is stunningly beautiful, the kind of consort you would expect for a man of wealth, power, and taste. This is Cordelia. He motions her to him, and she glides over, but stops a foot away.
I must say, my dear, you look very usable tonight.
She smiles playfully. He circles her, almost touching her. His hands move over her, inches from her skin. He leans close and breathes in her scent, but he can't touch her. She opens her silk robe. Underneath, she is wearing a rubber wetsuit. He touches the rubber, running his fingertips over her. We hear a faint crackling of electricity. She seems both excited and apprehensive.
I want you, not rubber.
No, Carl. I can't.
Yes!
Strand doesn't like the concept of no. He takes her in his arms and kisses her with passion and more. Her hair stands straight out with the electrostatic charge. She begins to convulse, in tiny shivers at first, but then like an epileptic. Suddenly, she goes limp. Her eyes stare fixedly at the ceiling.
Shit.
He drops her on a couch, stands there in misery and isolation. Strand has the Midas touch. He has everything and nothing. His electrical sense gives him the power to manipulate computer bank transfers, the stock market, etc., to make himself a billionaire, to sit at the center of the world's great electronic web and feel its vibrations. So he has everything, but he cannot touch another person, or shake hands without a great effort of will to control his electrical potential. And if he lets his guard down in an intimate moment with a woman, he will kill her with the high voltage discharge. His love is deadly, so he has learned to live without love, without the comfort of human touch, emotion, contact. So he has nothing. He quickly unzips the front of her wetsuit and puts his hands under the rubber. Zap! Her body arches. He steps back, scowling, impatient. Her eyes flutter open, and she struggles to breathe.
I don't know how much more of this I can take, Carl.
Peter starts slipping as a student, missing sleep, feeling the strain of a dual life. The only subject which has kept his attention is biology, and he reads voraciously on spiders. ostensibly for his term project. Mary Jane, of course, hates him for volunteering them for such a disgusting project, thinks he's a geek. He tries to get her to see the beauty in spiders, how perfect they are, how amazing, how their engineering is astounding, how flawless they are as predators, how adaptable, etc. How amazing their web-making ability is, with the equivalent strength for its size greatly in excess of steel. How they can vary the width, speed, texture, stickiness, etc. He tells her how some species actually care for their young. The mother spider can distinguish the vibrations in the web caused by her young from the movements of prey of enemies. They see by touch. Cobweb spiders perform stroking motions on the web to call their young, and plucking motions to warn them of danger. Sometimes, the mother cares for the young spiderlings by feeding them regurgitated food. Mary Jane is grossed out, looking at him like he just crawled out from under a rock himself. Somehow, in all this, he manages to make her laugh. She actually starts to like him. Peter is walking out of the school with Mary Jane when they are ambushed by Flash. He starts to ridicule Peter, then threatens him. Peter just clenches his jaw and backs away. Peter does not believe in violence, and he has never thrown a punch in his life. It just wouldn't occur to him. Through a row of bushes, he sees Flash grab Mary Jane by the arm and spin her around. They are arguing. Flash slaps her across the face.
No, let me go.
Peter is so enraged, his hands snap a 4-inch tree limb without him realizing it. Flash is walking to his car after gymnastics practice. It is dark. A figure drops silently down from behind him. Flash spins and sees a guy in a black fishnet mask. Thinking it a robbery, Flash swings, only to grab his own fist in pain. It was like hitting oak. Peter holds Flash with one hand and slaps him hard.
How do you like it, huh?
He slaps him again, backhand. Then he cocks back his fist and punches Flash so hard he flies 10 feet. He picks him up, gets him in a painful arm lock, marches him to his beloved Porsche, and slams him brutally against it. He pounds Flash into the car until the jock collapses, semi-conscious. Peter then rips a signpost out of the ground and pounds the car into junk. Glass flies everywhere. Peter leans close to Flash.
Stay away from Mary Jane, or else.
Cut to Peter running. He stops around a corner, out of sight. In darkness he stands, panting, looking down at his hands. He rubs his knuckles.
I wonder if every hero remembers their first punch. Well, I do. Maybe it was all the bullies over the years, kicking the skinny kid around. All that stored-up rage just came out so fast it was scary. For a split second, I just wanted to kill him. It's a good thing that his car was there. I always hated that Porsche.
Peter is gasping, shaking with emotion. He feels like this strange power flowing through him has unleashed demons, that he is becoming something he doesn't recognize. He doesn't realize that these primal forces are within us all, and the power, like the power of adulthood, gives us the possibility of acting on those dark urges.
But the scariest thing of all was, belting that jock butthead felt so good.